Deep in the heart of the dense woods stood a forest rumored to be cursed. Its towering trees, draped in shadows, whispered tales of ancient spirits and lost souls. I had been warned to stay away, but curiosity got the better of me, and I set out one moonlit night to explore the mysteries that lay within. As I ventured deeper into the forest, a sense of unease settled over me. The air grew heavy, choking with the stench of decay, and the once familiar sounds of nature were replaced with an eerie silence. The trees loomed overhead, their gnarled branches reaching towards me like skeletal fingers. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, carrying with it faint whispers that seemed to speak directly to my soul. I strained to make out the words, but could only catch fragmented echoes of sorrow and despair. It was as if the forest itself mourned for the souls it had claimed. Then, from the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of movement. Shadows danced between the trees, shifting and swaying in a macabre dance. I froze in fear as I realized that I was not alone. Figures emerged from the darkness, ghostly apparitions of long-departed souls, their eyes empty voids devoid of life. They floated toward me, their movements hauntingly graceful yet unsettling. Their mournful gazes bore into me, and I could sense their hunger for release, their desire to drag me into their eternal torment. I turned to flee, but the forest seemed to twist and contort, the trees moving with an unnatural fluidity. The path I had entered through had vanished, leaving me trapped in a labyrinth of branches and shadows. Panic consumed me as I realized there was no escape. As the ghostly figures closed in, their ethereal hands reaching out to grasp at my flesh, I too became a part of the cursed forest. Their tormented whispers enveloped me, their sorrow becoming my own. Together we would wander the twisted paths, forever lost within the depths of the haunted woods.
It was a night like any other as I made my way to the old abandoned hospital where I had recently started working the night shift. The eerie silence of the empty corridors sent shivers down my spine, but I tried to shrug off the feeling as I entered the dimly lit building. As soon as I settled into my station, I heard a faint whisper calling my name. At first, I dismissed it as my imagination playing tricks on me in the quiet darkness. But the voice grew louder, more insistent, as if it was coming from the shadows themselves. I nervously glanced around, feeling my heart pounding in my chest. The hospital was known for its dark past, with rumors of unexplained deaths and strange occurrences. I tried to focus on my work, but the feeling of unease lingered like a heavy fog in the air. Hours passed, and the sense of dread only deepened. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of the lights, made my nerves stand on end. I kept checking the time, counting down the minutes until I could finally leave this haunted place. Then, suddenly, I heard the sound of footsteps echoing down the hallway. My breath caught in my throat as I strained to see who, or what, was approaching. But there was nothing there, just the empty darkness staring back at me. I could feel an icy grip of fear tightening around my chest as the footsteps drew closer, each step growing louder and more menacing. I wanted to run, to scream, but I was frozen in place, helpless against the growing terror. And then I saw it. A figure emerging from the shadows, its silhouette twisted and distorted, like something out of a nightmare. It moved closer, its eyes gleaming with malice, and I felt a primal instinct urging me to flee. But before I could make a move, the figure spoke in a voice that seemed to resonate deep within my soul. "You shouldn't be here," it hissed, sending a wave of terror crashing over me. I tried to respond, but my voice failed me. The figure continued to advance, its presence suffocating, its intentions unknown. I closed my eyes, praying for it to be just a hallucination, a trick of my overactive imagination. When I opened them again, the figure was gone, leaving me alone in the suffocating silence of the hospital. I felt a cold hand grip my shoulder, and I spun around, expecting to see the face of my tormentor. But there was nothing there, just the empty darkness mocking me with its oppressive weight. I knew then that I had crossed a threshold, that I had stumbled upon something beyond my comprehension. As I fled from the hospital that night, the echoes of the chilling encounter followed me, haunting my every step. I never returned to the night shift, but the memory of that terrifying true night will always linger as a reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows.
I had accepted a job as a night custodian at an abandoned asylum, hoping to make some extra money to support my family. But as soon as I entered the desolate building, I knew that I had made a terrible mistake. The asylum exuded a palpable sense of dread, the air thick with the whispers of tormented souls that lingered within its decaying walls. Shadows flitted across the darkened hallways, their movements flickering and elusive like spectres caught in a perpetual state of unrest. As I went about my duties, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes tracking my every move. From the shadows, strange noises echoed through the empty corridors, the sound of footsteps and distant wails that sent a chill down my spine. And then I stumbled upon a forgotten wing of the asylum, a place that had long been sealed off from the outside world. As I cautiously approached, air grew thick with a sense of foreboding, the silence broken only by the ragged breathing of something unseen. I felt a cold hand grip my shoulder and I spun around, expecting to see the face of a long-dead patient staring back at me. But there was nothing there, just the empty darkness of the abandoned asylum mocking me with its oppressive weight. I knew then that I had trespassed into a realm of madness and despair, a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred into a nightmarish tapestry of horror. And as the night wore on, I found myself ensnared in a web of terror from which there was no escape, my fate sealed within the haunted halls of the asylum. Desperate to break free, I ran for the exit, and my heart pounding in my chest as I raced through the twisting corridors. But the asylum seemed to have a will of its own, its walls shifting and changing, leading me deeper into the heart of its dark and twisted secrets. And I knew that I had become just another lost soul trapped within the asylum's malevolent grasp, doomed to wander its haunted corridors for all eternity. I had taken a job as a night security guard at an old, decaying hotel that had a long history of strange occurrences. From the moment I stepped foot inside, I felt a chill run down my spine, as if the building itself was alive and watching my every move. As the night progressed, I began to hear whispers coming from the empty rooms and corridors, their words too faint to decipher but filled with a sense of urgency and impending doom. Every shadow seemed to come alive, dancing in the flickering candlelight that failed to dispel the darkness. And then I saw a ghostly figure dressed in tattered white, her face twisted in agony as she reached out to me with spectral hands. I tried to flee, but her icy grip held me in place, her anguished wails piercing my soul like 1,000 knives. I knew then that the hotel was cursed, its walls stained with the memories of those who had met untimely ends within its halls. And as the night dragged on, I found myself trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape, my only company the tormented spirits that roamed the empty corridors. Desperate to break free, I made a run for the exit, and my heart pounding in my chest as I raced down the stairs. But with each step I took, the stairs seemed to stretch endlessly, leading me deeper into the heart of the hotel's haunted labyrinth. And as the ghostly figure of the woman appeared before me once again, her eyes blazing with a hunger for vengeance, I knew that I had become just another unfortunate soul trapped within the hotel's malevolent grasp, condemned to wander its halls for eternity.